Hello and happy Wednesday. I am so excited to see you today. Looking forward to a great live stream where we are going to go through a live setting up of a prospecting routine for your real estate business. So, really, my intention here today is to share some tips for organization and just some pre planning principles when it comes to setting your proven prospecting plan for your real estate business. I'm a little bit out of it today. It's been a while since I've been live here on YouTube, and I'm really excited to share some new content that I've been working on. And I've been thinking a lot about where real estate agents are today in the market, right? And if I really think about it, so many agents, and I know many that follow me here on the channel, are newer agents, at least in the last 2 to 3 years. And when I think about where you might be right now in a shifting market, with a lot of uncertainty in the economy and in life in general, I think that what we can really focus on to see great traction in our business is getting back to basics and refining those core skills and principles that are really helpful to growing a real estate business that is going to help you get paid consistently, connect you with the right people, and keep you focused on the goals that are most important to you. So if you're here with me live, go ahead and let me know in the chat. I would love to see who is here with us today. We do have a lot of content kind of prepared for. So really, we're going to spend the next 10 or 15 minutes walking through how to create your real estate lead generation routine that's going to be designed to help you connect with clients now and also fill up your pipeline for the next coming months. Now, chances are you might be looking at a busy spring season and excited to really tap into some of the activity that we tend to see during this time of year. But it's going to be a different market than it has been in the last couple of years. In the last couple of years, it's been very obvious as to why people should buy or sell, right? People were selling because it was the top of the market, and people were buying because interest rates were at the absolute bottom. As things started to change, as the seller's market began to cool down after the interest rates began to rise, what we have seen is needing to help our clients understand a little bit more about why they should be buying or selling right now. It's just really requiring a little bit more skill and communication from us. And so what we need to make sure that we are doing is constantly checking our prospecting routine and tracking those metrics to make sure that what we're doing is actually delivering results that we want to see. And so that would be probably the first thing that I would say in your prospecting routine is to get a pulse for where you're at right now. And that actually happens to be one of the first things that we do in the Market Authority Academy. Hey, and I do see we have someone scrolling, saw you live, Northern California. I'm one of the agents in MAA. CC, I don't see your name, so I'm not sure exactly who that is, but welcome. I'm so happy to have you. One of the things that we do in the Market Authority Academy is getting a pulse for where you're at right now. And anytime we're talking about setting a really solid lead generation routine in your real estate business, I always recommend, Sean, hey, Sean, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. I always say that we need to get a pulse for what's working now, right? Because we don't want to change anything that might already be working, but we do need to make sure that if something needs to be added or subtracted from the equation that you're running at that moment, it makes sense to make those refinements. Ooh, I'm going to need a little sip of water. I've never used the mute button. I hope that worked. Oh my gosh, I'm like having so much trouble all of a sudden. Sorry, I just need a sec. Anytime I'm working with real estate agents, I'm like, hey, should we do video? You should go live. One of the questions is always like, well, what if I mess up? What if I stutter, or what if I say the wrong thing, or what if I freeze? Well, now you know that it might even happen to me, and the world continues to spin and life goes on. Woo! I'm like losing my voice all of a sudden, of course, the moment I go live. And that always happens. I should have known better. It always happens when it rains here, and it's been raining here locally all day. So it's okay. I'm all good. If you're all good, let's continue with the content at hand. So, in organizing a prospecting routine that is going to be beneficial for your business, connect you with the right people, and help you to continue to grow your pipeline with leads who are going to convert. We need to kind of figure out what we're doing now and what works and just make sure that we keep that. So I always suggest taking a look at your metrics. Now, when you're looking at your metrics, just get a sense for what opportunities you've been procuring recently, right? So get a sense of what leads you've generated year to date, what lead sources they are from, what activities led to those opportunities, and kind of a little status update on what happened once you started following up with those. Now, just getting that quick list of people who you've begun working with year to date so far this year, that gives you a couple of clues. Number one, it helps you determine how many leads are you generating. So are you generating enough leads? Now, depending on the lead source, which we'll get to in a moment, you can expect a couple of different conversion rates, just as like a loose rule of thumb. So if you're generating Zillow leads or internet leads or anything of that nature, leads who are coming in online who don't necessarily know you just yet, you can expect to see between like a 2 and maybe a 4% conversion rate on those individuals over 2 years. So if all you've been doing is generating internet leads or paying for Zillow leads and you're not seeing a lot of closings for that, that might just be because you need a lot of those leads for that to be effective for you, and you need to have really great follow-up to convert them in the long run. On the other hand, if you have been generating a lot of really great leads from referrals or people finding you on Instagram or YouTube or social media in general, what you should be seeing is about a 40% conversion on those. So meaning almost half of those leads should be converting for you within 6 months. And that is going to be a really important indicator for you to determine whether or not you are generating enough of the right leads for you to hit your goals this year. Now, the other thing that looking at your leads list is going to help you determine is what are your current lead sources and which ones are working the best. So depending on what it is you're doing, most agents need a minimum of 3 lead sources, 3 solid lead sources that are going to consistently deliver great converting clients who become clients for life. Now, a lot of times this looks like database referrals, right? So referrals or repeat business directly from your database. This can also look like Instagram or other social media platforms. And then this can also look like something like open houses or team leads or another referral network, farming, wherever else you happen to get business from consistently. And when I say consistently, I'm saying like 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 deals per year per lead source. So you do need a minimum of 3 solid lead sources. And if you don't, that's going to be your first thing that you want to make sure that you're focusing on your prospecting routine. Now, again, the reason I'm not getting into like specifics yet is because we kind of have to have a general idea of where you are. So that's what you want to do first. Where are your leads coming from? Are they converting in terms of like where they should be for industry average? And do you have enough lead sources? Once you have those questions determined, then you can put together an actual prospecting schedule that is going to address those concerns if you have any of those. So if we look at a really solid prospecting schedule, as a rule of thumb, you need to have a prospecting schedule that allows you to get about 10 conversations per day. So I'm talking about 10 conversations around real estate with people who either want to work with you or want to refer you every single day. Now, really easily, this is like so easy to break it down. You want to have a couple of conversations with your database every single day. So these are people who you already know, like, and trust, who's in your sphere of influence. So I would say shoot for like 1 to 5 conversations with those individuals per day. This might look like doing your ABC calls, which we've talked about on the channel and which we coach our agents through in the Market Authority Academy pretty frequently on. Or this might look like birthdays, right? So reaching out to people whose birthdays it is, maybe even reaching out to past clients. So really your database calls. Next, you want to have 1 to 5 great conversations with new leads. So any new leads who might be coming in, you obviously want to make sure that you're touching base with them. And then 1 to 5 conversations with pipeline leads. So people who are in that follow-up status where they need a good 6 to 12 months to convert. You can also have a lot of these conversations with individuals who you are interacting with through natural engagement on social media. That leads us to the next question that I usually get is, well, what counts as a conversation? Like, does it have to be a call? Does it have to be in person? Not necessarily. Texting, phone calls, and messaging on the direct messages or even on iMessage through or through the messenger on Facebook, those totally count as conversations as well. So your prospecting routine goal is going to be to hit about 10 conversations per day. Now, when you're scheduling this in your day, I always love to have this the first thing, because this is something that tends to fall from the wayside when we get busy. Your prospecting needs to be happening at the first day. So again, that would be another troubleshooting question that I would ask you. If you're having a lot of challenges in sticking to the prospecting routine that you would like to have, I would say, well, when are you trying to do it? Is it at a consistent time of day? And what happens when you don't get to it? So we always say, do your prospecting first thing in the morning, and that is going to make sure that you stick to it. You also don't need hours and hours of prospecting, right? So I would say shoot for about 60 to 90 minutes straight of real estate prospecting every morning. And this is just having the conversations that lead naturally to more referrals and repeat business. And if you are hitting that every single day, you are going to be in the clear. You're going to have a full pipeline of clients who are coming in each day. Now, what I really like to do in terms of stacking my prospecting routines, I begin with having my calls to my database first. So if you want to do this with me, I would encourage you to begin with database calls. So the reason we want to start with your database calls is these are going to be the people who are most likely to refer you. And these are going to be your highest converting clients, meaning like the lowest hanging fruit, or the warmest leads, however you kind of want to think about that. This is going to be like the prime opportunity for you. Now, if you don't have a database, you got to work on building your database, right? So like when I got into the business, I did not have a very big database. I knew like 30 people. And that's part of what you can work on. Like that's something that you can have a goal around, right? And you should be understanding that that's very important to your business and putting a plan in place to achieve that. Now, database calls first. Second is going to be checking in with current clients and long-term nurture clients. So checking in with any follow-up campaigns you have on your CRM. And then finally going into social media and doing any social media engagement. So organic engagement on Instagram, for example, or even on Facebook. And then going into any posting for your social media marketing. Now, that to me is the perfect prospecting schedule. And if you can nail those three things every single day, it should not take you any more than 90 minutes per day. And you should be able to have about 10 conversations per day that ultimately lead to at least 2 closings a month. Now, those are the numbers that you want to be hitting. But of course, you have to track this for a while to make sure it's actually working. And so when I track these numbers, I always track these on Friday mornings. You can see my son through the window if you look. I always track these on Friday mornings. I take 5 to 10 minutes to update my lead tracker, update my deal tracker, and make sure that I'm monitoring my metrics to ask those questions each week and check in. Is this working the way I want it to? Am I going to be on pace for where I want to be? And what changes do I need to make in the next coming week to ensure that I'm going to be on track to hit my goals this month? And that's really how it all shakes out. Now, if you have any questions, definitely throw those in the chat. If I need to go any deeper on any of those specific principles, I am more than happy to do so. But I want to take just a moment and invite you to a live training that we are hosting, that I am hosting a week from today. So on Wednesday, March 22nd, I am sharing a brand new live training that I am so excited for. And it is my ultimate guide to unlocking a 6-figure income in real estate. So I'm sharing the marketing and systems strategy to attract and convert clients on demand. This is brand new training from me. I'm super excited to roll out some new content for you this year. We're going to talk about marketing that attracts on and off social media. We're discussing follow-up that converts. So how to follow up for the long term and make sure that you are getting every single opportunity that you can. And I'm sharing the systems that will help you scale. So specifically, what systems and organization do you need in place to give your business structure to keep you getting paid every single month so that you can hit 6 figures and beyond in real estate? That live training is going to be available to real estate agents everywhere. So definitely make sure to save your seats. These are always very well attended, and I am expecting this one to be a full house. So I would love to see you there. All the details are going to be in the show notes. So definitely join. We'd love to see you. You're going to get your workbook as well, and you will have a replay, but obviously the best results come from those who join live. So just plan to be with me for about 60 minutes during that time. We'll be doing a lot of Q&A and sharing live content. So I am pumped. Hope to see you there. Okay, so quick recap. Number one, your first step in dialing in your prospecting routine is to just get a pulse. So are we generating enough leads? How many lead sources do we have? Do we have at least 3 solid lead sources? And how are we converting on those, right? So like, where are those conversion rates? Now, next, once you have the answers to that question, you can break down your prospecting routine. I say definitely try to get at least 10 conversations per day. Begin with your database calls and conversations. So start with people who you already know and work on coaching for referrals, work on touching base with past clients, that sort of thing. And then move on to current client check-ins, reaching out to long-term follow-up, maybe tending to any other lead sources that you have, like following up with open house leads from the weekend or touching base with new leads who are coming in as internet leads. And then finally, the last part of that is going into social media. So doing your social media engagement, organic social media posting, having conversations there to really make sure that you are harnessing the brand building aspect of social media as well. In my business, historically over the last several years, we've generated just about 40-ish% of our business from Instagram alone by doing some of those strategies, and the rest is mostly referral, which is right where I like it to be. Again, I think that every agent needs at least 3 solid lead sources, and those are just 2 of our best ones. So Yasen says, what's a perfect strategy plan in social media specifically for renting an apartment? There's a lot of different ways to do it. And depending on exactly how you're wanting to attract those individuals, I would need more context because there's just not one broad brush approach to doing it. For example, you could go buy a bunch of templates online about how, like, posting and stuff, or Instagram. You could get a lot of templated graphics, but that's never really going to do it unless you're speaking to those individuals specifically. So what I actually do, most agents in the Market Authority Academy who I'm working with, they do have ideal clients, right? So they have like a specific niche that they're wanting to work with. Some of them are like rentals, mostly. The majority of Market Authority agents are trying to work with first-time home buyers or second-time moving up, new construction, relocation, luxury, just depending on those areas. We take the time to actually help them understand exactly who they are in terms of like where that individual is in the cycle of homeownership, what their questions are regarding the market. We do a little bit of research to actually tailor that marketing strategy specifically to that real estate agent's brand and business so that it is hyper focused on attracting the right people. And that's why our real estate agents are so successful in that process, not just like a broad brush approach. So while I can say, well, you should be posting 3 times a week and engaging every day, that's true. But the next question is going to be, well, what do I post and what do I say? Well, that's going to depend a little bit more on like your specific goals and those individuals. So not that that's the answer that you bargained for. It's probably more words than I needed to, but I wanted to share the context behind my answer. Eric says, any ideas on how to prospect with investors and builders? My third niche that I haven't had much traction yet. Eric from VA. Hey. So prospecting with investors and builders, that's going to come down to relationship building. Those are like business relationships. And we actually do a lot with different MAA people to help them create that actual plan. What I would do is actually, if I was working with you, Eric, what I would actually do is identify like specifically what that list look like, and then like go after them in a networking sense. So trying to get those face-to-faces, trying to get them in person, either for coffee meetings or over Zoom meetings. And just asking them like, hey, how can I support your business? How can I support your goals? How can I provide value in a way that we can continue to support each other? Right. There's kind of a couple of ways that we do that. Investors and builders, it really comes down to bottom line with them. So understanding what their goals are is going to be the most important part. John, hi, new agent there planning to focus on YouTube for marketing. Any advice for real estate and lifestyle content? Again, it really comes down to your ideal client, particularly on YouTube. You cannot have broad marketing on YouTube and expect it to be super effective, right? So, one thing that we've seen is the generalized like lifestyle vlogging content does not tend to do much anymore for YouTube channels. And in MAA, I'm working a lot with agents on helping them fine tune their YouTube strategy for generating clients. And over again, what we see is generalized lifestyle content tends to be falling out of favor. What you have to do is use it as like educational content, and that's going to be the best. So my advice would be truly understand your ideal client, get extremely specific on who it is you're looking to attract, and try to figure out exactly what it is they're looking for on Google and YouTube and create content along with that strategy. But if you join that live training, John, that we have next week, I'm actually going to be talking a lot about that from the marketing that attracts aspect. So we're going to be going deep on how to identify and attract your dream clients and then attract them on autopilot through marketing. And I think that you're right in line. I think every agent needs a YouTube channel. It's been really successful for our business as well. And a lot of the agents that I work with, we have multiple agents who are in the Market Authority Academy who are implementing those strategies, who are getting most of their clients on demand now from YouTube for free. Like it's organic. It's really cool. Okay, cool. That we're about 20 minutes here for recording. That's what I've got for you today. If you have additional questions, I would love to see you at that live training. It is March 22nd, 11 a.m. Pacific time, next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. if you're Eastern. All the details are in the show notes of this live broadcast. Once we post it, you can check it out there, but really any video is going to have the details on how to join. So I would love to see you there. Definitely save your seats. And if you have additional questions, or if you want to dive in deeper on any of these topics that we've talked about, you can do so during that live training with me. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon.